Today I'll be making chocolate-covered strawberries, giving you tips along the way. These are perfect for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, or any time of the year. First, we'll start by washing our strawberries. I like to use this fruit and veggie wash spray to clean them. You can also soak them in a bowl of water with a tablespoon of vinegar to help remove any dirt or residue. It's important to thoroughly dry your strawberries before coating them in chocolate, otherwise your chocolate will not adhere. Any moisture lingering on the berries will also cause the chocolate to seize up and not form that smooth coating. I lay them out on paper towels to continue to air dry for 1 to 2 hours. This also allows them to come to room temperature so your chocolate doesn't clump up. Once dry, insert toothpicks or skewers halfway into each strawberry. I find that the slightly larger size toothpicks hold up better than the small ones. If you have the smaller ones, the standard ones, just use 2 at a time. For chocolate, I recommend using this Ghirardelli brand. This is the best one that I've used so far. I've tried others like the ones from Michael's, the grocery store ones, and they just don't work the same. So I highly recommend this brand. These do only come in chocolate and then the white chocolate, but you can always dye them to make them different colors. Today I'm using these disposable and microwave safe cups. I'll post the link below in the description section along with other products I use. I'm going to start with our white ones. We're going to microwave these for 30 seconds, give them a mix, and then microwave them in increments of 15 seconds until fully melted. This is 30 seconds. Even though they're not melted, you still want to give them a mix. Now this is 15, 15 again. Keep mixing, see how it's starting to melt, and another 15, and this will do the trick. This is what it should look like. Whenever you're working with chocolate, I recommend using gloves. This will avoid any fingerprints on them. Before dipping, make sure you pull the stems all the way back, then dip each strawberry as far as you can into the melted chocolate, twisting gently to coat. Then you want to lift and allow any excess to drip off, and then place on a silicone mat or parchment paper. Let's do another one. Remember, you got to push the leafy part back, otherwise it's going to get in your chocolate and just make a mess out of it. Okay, so want to dip as far as you can go. And then shake off the excess. Don't ever place your strawberries on a cutting board. Otherwise, it's going to get stuck to your cutting board and you'll just ruin the whole thing. Just remember that when you're laying your strawberries on a mat, it's always going to have a flat side. So if you don't want them to be flat, just use a styrofoam square and you could just stand it up like this. If you want to use sprinkles, you got to make sure you do it right after you dip while your chocolate is still wet. Otherwise, it's not going to adhere to the chocolate. I like to use this little cupcake tray. I place all the different sprinkles I want to use and then just sprinkle right over each cup. This way, I also don't waste any. I've got my chocolate. This time, we're going to try and make a tuxedo out of these. We want to dip each side, creating a V. We're going to let that one dry up. In the meantime, I'm going to dip just one side and then add a few sprinkles to it. These are pretty easy to do. We'll move on to the next one. Once your tuxedo strawberry has dried, you can just use the back of a skewer to make the buttons and the bow tie. The bow tie is usually the one that's a little tricky. To make the pretty stripes going back and forth, you could either use a knife or a piping bag. I find the piping bag to be a little bit easier. We'll do one in just a minute. I prefer the piping bag a little better. Just add your chocolate to a piping bag, cut the tip off, test it out on your plate first, and then using back and forth motion, just lay it on there. For this next one, we're going to do a rose, but first I'm going to cut the very tip off, and we'll just eat that one. I set my strawberry aside temporarily. For now, I'm going to be filling my molds. These are rose molds that I got through Amazon. And by the way, you can find that link below in the description section of my YouTube. For TikTok and Instagram, you can find the link in my bio. Next, I'm going to dip my strawberry in the chocolate, and then we're going to lay it right on top of the flour. I'm going to let it sit there for a minute, and then I'm going to put it in my refrigerator to set for another minute. In the meantime, I'm going to do another one here, and I believe this mold I got from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. For this one, I'm doing a heart. Again, I'm going to put these in the refrigerator for a couple of minutes. All right, let's go ahead and check up on these. Fingers crossed. We got a nice little rose. Look at that. Probably need to go a little bit bigger. We gotta go bigger, guys. I think this one's much better. What do you guys think? Let's take a look at this other one. Yeah, I think it's a lot better. A different way you can do it is by filling your molds, popping these out, and dip your strawberry and place the flower right on top while it's still wet. If it's dry, just use a dot of chocolate to glue it on there. I saw this edible color spray at Hobby Lobby and I thought I would give it a try to see if it worked. Let's spray a strawberry. This is supposed to be red. Okay, guys, it's not looking good. I don't think this is going to work on chocolate. Can you see that? It's not really sticking to it. I also saw this edible paint. Let's go ahead and paint that same strawberry. I just kind of wiped it down with a paper towel. Now I'm going to add a little bit of this edible paint and see if it works. So far, this is looking pretty good. We'll see how it dries up. But I think it's working okay. If you've seen my other videos, you know I like the edible dust. So we're going to be using that today. That one is a metallic red. And by the way, if you haven't checked out my videos, be sure to go to my YouTube. I also have some candy arrangements for Valentine's Day and that you can also use for other occasions. I also have a lot of delicious recipes, and when you're on my YouTube and you subscribe, be sure to also check out my community section where you'll get to know me on a more personal level. Isn't this a pretty metallic red? Now, if you want it to show up even more, if you mix it with just a little bit of vodka and mix it all together, it'll go on there so much nicer. Watch my videos. Here, I'm just adding it to one of the ones with a rose on top. You can also do them in gold. I love the gold and silvers. When you're making these, just play around with them. Make little different designs, little loops, swirly lines, whatever you want. If you have chocolate left over, go ahead and dip some marshmallows and then just add some sprinkles on them. You can do Oreo cookies. There's so many different things you can do. Now let me show you the ones I made today. I've got 2 full boxes. I'm able to fit 25 in each box. Again, links below in the comments. And these are actually going to my husband's work. Now let's cut into one and just eat it up. I hope you were able to learn something from this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, please be sure to do so below or hit my little picture on the side. Also, don't forget to hit the little bell to get notified of all of my new videos. And please be sure to check out these links on the side. Share with your friends. Thanks for watching and your support.